Hey everyone, how's it going? Robert Lewis here. Welcome to our 38th episode of Brew Talk with Mr. Beer. I'll be your host for today's show. Thanks for taking the time to tune and watch us. As always, we really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, want to see any future videos or any topics you'd like us to discuss, please comment on the post, send an email in to customer service, chat with us, send us a message on social media, whatever your preferred method of communication is. Just let us know what you guys want to see. We will create some cool, awesome videos for you guys. Before we jump into our topic today, I have props for our topic, so it should make it fun. We can dive into what I'm drinking. It's actually not one of our recipes. This is brewed by Matt, who does all of our graphics here. So it's a Berliner Weiss that he put a bunch of lemons that we got from someone's lemon tree here in. So it's really good. It's an all grain recipe, but it's really good. It's really light. I mean, it's like 4%, I think. Really easy drinking, but it's really interesting beer. I was enjoying it yesterday, so I thought it'd be a good beer to drink this morning. You can't beat that. All right, so I have notes for today, so bear with me here. So today's topic is something that we've seen a lot in the Facebook group. It's something that Zach and Ashley were talking about. So it's how to use your hydrometer. Now we have done a blog post on this about 5 years ago, so I thought it'd be a great time to revisit it, update it, and kind of add a video to it to, help you guys better understand it. It can be a little tricky to use because the instructions that come with the hydrometers, if any come at all, are kind of vague and they don't really help you. So we thought we'd break it down a little bit. So before we dive into how to use it, we'll kind of talk about what it is. So a hydrometer is an instrument that measures the weight or gravity of a liquid in relation to the weight of water. So water weighs 1.000, and as you add, weight into that, which is basically sugars, it makes the water a little more dense, obviously. So when you take the weight of water, it's 1.000. The resulting measure is called specific gravity. So a hydrometer will float, obviously, it'll float higher in heavier liquids, such as one with sugars and stuff dissolved in it, and lower in light liquids, such as water or alcohol. The average home brewer is very keen, to the amount of sugar they put in their wort, because that's what creates, the yeast eats the sugar, creates it in alcohol, and does all that stuff. So by knowing how much sugar you have in your beer when you start, you can figure out where your beer is going to end, when it's going to be done, and what the ABV and all that stuff will be. They're kind of different variants of the hydrometer. Some have one scale, which ours does. Some have two. Some have three. A typical hydrometer measures three things, depending on what it is. It does specific gravity, potential alcohol, and sugar. It's kind of the basics. So how to use your hydrometer is pretty dang easy. So I don't know if you guys can see this or not. So I have tools here. I have one of our Mr.Beer hydrometers, and I have our test tube that I filled with water. Didn't want to waste anyone, so let's just beer that they're brewing as we're testing out the new recipes and stuff. So basically, it's very simple. So when you are going to brew your beer, you're going to make sure that everything's obviously sanitized and clean and stuff like that. So when you go to draw your sample from your spigot, you put this tip at the end and just pour your sample. You want to fill about 80% up. So you can see I didn't fill it all the way to the top because if you drop this in, it's going to overflow. 80% up, so enough so the hydrometer will float in there. If you're taking like a reading for final gravity, when you pull that first little bit out, you're going to get that trub in there, or trube, however you want to call it. So make sure that you dump that out, because any type of particles or anything floaties in there can, variate your reading slightly. So basically, once your tube is done, you're going to place it on a flat surface. For this viewing purposes, I'm just going to hold it because obviously I'm not taking any real measurements. So once you place it on a flat surface, ready to go, you're going to take your hydrometer, you're going to slowly kind of dip it in. You'll see the water level rise, kind of bounces a touch. And then what we recommend, what we do here is you always give it a little bit of kind of a spin, and that will help remove any of the excess bubbles that are floating around it and kind of help it settle out. You want to make sure it's not touching the sides. Obviously this is, because I'm holding it. See if I can flatten it out. Woo, almost. So now when taking your measurement, what you're going to want to look at is not where the very tip of the liquid is, but what do they call it? So it's the bottom of the meniscus. So when you look very closely at your reading, the kind of water will kind of just come up a touch, so it kind of almost like rises slightly around the top of the hydrometer. So you're going to take your reading right below that level where it's even with the entire surface level of your liquid. So this water is obviously going to read 1.000 because there's nothing in here, no sugars, no nothing. Depending on what beer you have, it may be higher or right around there. It depends on how it's fermenting. So, I know it's hard to see, but that's basically the gist of how to use it. So you want to take your reading, and it's called the meniscus, like I said earlier. And when you're looking closely and you do it for the first time, you'll be able to notice and understand what we're talking about here. But it's right below that. So usually it's just slightly above what the actual reading is. And then you just want to make sure that it floats, it's not touching anything. You want to make sure that that curved surface of liquid, you're taking your reading right below there. Your reading, so you know what's going on. Sorry guys, yeah, bear with me on this one. I'm gonna make sure I cover everything for you. So there's a few tips that you should know about your readings. These are something that people talk about. So one is that most hydrometers are calibrated to give accurate readings in a certain temperature range, which is usually about 59 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Higher temperatures thin the liquid slightly, so it can result in lower readings and you get the correct temperature. So at 70 degrees, which is what most of our brews come at, the reading will be 0.001 lower than what it should be. To correct it, just add 0.001 back to the reading that you get, and you're good to go. If you're at 77 degrees, it's 0.002. At 84 degrees, it's 0.003. We do have a temperature chart and all this stuff that we're going to put on the blog on our website. So go to mrbeer.com/blog. There'll be a post how to use your hydrometer. We'll detail out all this information in there. All my notes will be in there, so you guys can take a look at it. You can read it. You have the chart. You can adjust the calibrations based on what the temperature is of the liquid, and also a few things to note. If your reading is off by a point or two, that's okay. There's a few reasons why it could be. Temperature is obviously one of the factors, like we just discussed. The amount of malt extract that you're getting out of your can can also be a factor, and also how well you're actually mixing up your wort and everything like that. So that's some of the reasons why we have the instructions the way we have them. All the readings that we do, like on our website, that show is with all the malt extract out of the cans into your beer, with it mixed up super well and what it actually is. So if you're a little lower than that, you could be leaving a little bit of malt in the can. Could not be super mixed. One thing to do is if you have, after you mix your initial can, you get everything out, and usually have some malt on the sides of the can, because I know it's very sticky, it lingers in there. Take some hot water, dump it in that can, and kind of swish it up and scrape the sides, and that'll help you get all that out, and then mix that up and make sure it'll bump your readings up a little bit. And the more malt you get out, the better. And also, just in the end, I guess what I would say is try not to worry about if your reading is off slightly. If you're off by 0.002, 0.003, it's not really going to impact the final results of your beer. So you're going to make amazing beer. You're going to get beer. It doesn't really matter. As everyone says, just relax and have a home brew. It's always the best way to do about anything when you're home brewing. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what readings say and all these cool gizmos and gadgets, you're making awesome beer. That's going to wrap it up today. I hope you guys were able to bear with me and it wasn't too wild and off the charts and confusing, as I'm trying to explain these things and make sure I'm covering all the topics. We will post a video on all our social media channels, and if you want to read more about it, go to our website and check out our blog page. Also, if you have other questions, we've had a blog page for about 7-8 years now, so we've had a ton of posts in there, a ton of information, a ton of knowledge in there. It's got a search feature in there, so you can search blogs and things like that. And if you see something that's in there that you'd like us to update on, or something that's on in that you think should be in there, just let us know. We're always looking to churn out new content, and we'll make sure to keep that updated for you guys. We'll have the temperature chart in there, and all the notes and stuff like that will be on the post that we make today. So I appreciate you guys joining us. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like, a share, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, whatever the platform you're on desires. That is what we like. Hope you guys have a great week. Hope you enjoy some homebrews. We'll be back with you again next week for another episode. Have a great week, guys. Cheers.